Having fun? At this stage of your program, I am not expecting that a lot of people are going to have fun. Right? So, what should we do, Enrique? Huh? Ryan, find out how many people are missing, who's missing, and call their team leaders to wake them up. And fail them for the class. Okay? Fine. 13. 13. Good morning. Good morning. 13. 12. 11. You remember the rules. I've ignored the rules.
Yeah, but yeah.
Huh? I was a bad person, so my wife broke it. Nothing. Or I could have made it more exciting. I was in a fight in a bar. All right, give us, let's say, a couple of minutes and then we'll start.
Hey, Sonny, what happened to Manchester?
Phil. No, I think Barcelona was a really good team. Even though Manchester didn't play well. I mean, they had points where they could score goals. But I think Barcelona was a better team over them. All right. You are under, I think, a lot of pressure, yes?
Yes.
Who's not under a lot of pressure? Who is under a lot of pressure? Oh, this makes me so happy. Because the projects that you are working on could have been worked on from a very simplistic perspective, right? You could have identified something and fixed it. But that's not what we are looking for. You have presentations tomorrow, is that correct? And typically, in the midterm presentations and in the final presentation, Esdras, tell me in the last years, what happens?
Really?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Cry, cry.
They cry because I tell them, this is not what I want to see. Okay. For example, we had a presentation at Fort Sanders yesterday. You know what? Where's the Fort Sanders group? You know what he did? He came to me up right before your presentations, and he said, please don't be mean to him. Okay. So I was not. Okay. But that does not mean that tomorrow I plan not to be mean to you, because it is not the fact that you're mean, it is the fact that I want to see a different way of thinking. So let me present the components that I want to see in your thing, which leads me to the model that we are going to finally show you. all of these activities over this time has led to this particular model. The first thing, and can I show it, is I am going to be looking for component number one. Anytime you make a change, there has to be an objective for that change, yes? You cannot say, I want to change. And the first thing I want to do is I am going to be looking to see if you have identified your lagging indicators. Right? What are the lagging indicators? And I want it to be very specific to the fact that if I am changing any system, I can change a system for any purposes. I can change this room to have a better romantic mood, which means I can reduce the lights. I can change the room to be more conducive to learning. I can change the room to be hot or cold. I can change the room for what purposes? These lagging indicators start with the company at some level. It works itself up on the corporation level, and it impacts over time society. You must be clearly articulate that. Now, what have you learned about lagging indicators? Can you control them? Okay. You cannot control lagging indicators. Those are the desired results. What is it that I will be looking for from you? I will be looking for leading indicators. Yes? Say yes.
Yes.
Very good. And what do you tell me, what can you tell me about leading indicators? Many people have many different microscopes or views by which they look at the world. An engineer and a policeman may look from a different perspective on society. Right? A driver of a bus and the CEO of a corporation may see society in a different way. You are the designers of systems. And your perspective at this moment is what? What is your leading indicator? What is it? Throughput can be determined by cycle time, which is really represents what? Increasing efficiency and effectiveness of a process. That cycle time in itself is not important. And the second component is that I can increase resources in a thing. So I can increase the effectiveness of the system by putting more resources or making it more efficient. If I am looking at every one of these two, yes, I have different concepts by which I can do it. I can do it through flow. I can do it through disruption. I can do it through variation. And I can definitely, in chances of all of this, is the quality of life. Quality of life. These are the key components, are they not? Okay. Now, my understanding that I want to see is this is it, and you should be able to link this to this. There must be a link. Now the question then becomes, okay, this is a set of tools, this is a set of tools, this is a set of tools, this is a set. The tools that you learn in education is what? Is just a mechanism to allow you to think in a different way. This is your thinking process, these are your tools. Most engineers that leave the industrial engineering departments in the United States are not capable of thinking. If I gave you a problem and say solve it, they would be worried about which class to use instead of ability to think. Now, so what is it I'm going to be looking for? I'm going to be looking for this. The second thing I'm going to be looking for is, if I can show you, is the drives model. The drives model here indicates what? The DRIV indicates what? Defining the problem. The thing that I am going to be looking for is this. Was the problem that the company gave you, in your opinion, the right problem or not the right problem? If it is the right problem, you say, by looking at this, what is it, how do I look at it? What is the organizational constraint? What is the function that constrains it? What is the value stream map in that organization or the function that is constrained? Of the value stream map, which is the critical path? Of the critical path, what is the bottleneck? Bottleneck of the critical path, of the key value stream map, of the function that constrains my system. You see, that's what I want to see. This is not to be presented in the beginning of your presentation. It is to be presented in the end of your presentation. If the problem that you're solving is the right problem, you say, by looking at your system, we believe that we are looking at the right problem. Right? And you put it in the beginning. Let me show you that you have done a good job of defining the problem. If they have not done a good job, you solve their problem, yes? And in the end, in a very nice way, you say, however, I think that you would have got a little bit more benefit by looking at this problem. Watch what you have just created in the mind. Watch what you have just created in the mind. What does a strategist in a company do? That's what they do. Right problem or wrong problem. Is that fair? Now, so I have this. What did I do here? What did I do? I'm defining the problem. Now, you see this process right here? What should this process be? The critical path of the key value stream of the function that constrains the system. You see that? If that is not that process, if this is not that process, I want you to tell me that. Is that okay? So number one is this is what I'm looking for. Number two, I'm looking for you to tell me if the problem is well defined. Is that okay? Can you do that? I'm asking you the question at this moment. From what you have learned, can you do this? Say yes. Can you do this?
Yes.
Hello? No. I want bigger yes.
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 Number three, this is what? What is this? The critical path of the key value stream map of a function that constrains that organization. Now, once I have this is my critical path, isn't it? And if it is not the critical path, you solve the problem anyway, and what you do? You say, hey, let me tell you what the critical path is. Now, in this critical path, how do we decompose and categorize the process? How do we decompose?
Material,
What's that?
material.
No, not yet, not yet. That's slightly, a little bit different. Go back one step further up. What was the word? Say it out loud. Say it out loud. Stochastic. That means every process that I look at in a system, that is the critical thing, is not the same. I have different patients. And this patient can be what? Deterministic? Yes. Stochastic? Or what?
Bayesian.
Ah, very nice. Why is this important? Every patient that I come should not be given an aspirin. Would you agree with that? Yes or no?
Yes.
How is it possible then, the way you look at systems and design systems, you have always taken a look at it and said, it's the same patient. The first thing I should do is value stream map. Well, the first thing I should do is 5S. Well, the first thing I should do is this. So now, what I want you to do is this. The third thing I'm looking at is for you to be able to do this. Yes or no? The fourth thing I want you to do is to help me with a strategy. We're not solving any problem yet. The strategy. For example, strategy is what? If it was deterministic, what should I work on? Huh? Very nice. It's not disruptions. Watch this. Variation. And this is the way I would do it. Does not mean I should not look at this. Does not mean I should look at this. But I do it in a very surgical manner. When I have stochastic, what's the first thing I should look at? Huh? When I have Bayesian, what should I look at? This becomes your strategy, doesn't it? Now, is it 100% mistake-proof? No. But it is going to give you insight into what tools you should use. Did I not say flow has tools? Disruption has tools. Variation has tools. And even the quality of life has tools. So what set of tools that I've learned from my school should I use? It is dependent on this strategy. So I'm looking at what? This. I am looking at defining the problem. I am now looking at this right here. Off the critical path, what kind of system is it? And how should I strategically look at improving that system? In every case, should you look at the quality of life? Yes or no? Why? Why? That if you do not look at the quality of life, you are not going to be able to sustain the improvements that you have. Now, the fifth thing that I am looking for you is to look at support systems. Would you agree, when we talked about this issue of disruptions, we also said, if I convert it, 1 minus disruption is reliability, yes? Maybe, not exactly, but maybe. When I look at support systems, should we look at what? The reliability of that system. So here's what I would be looking at. For example, in this system, if their approach was to look at a bottleneck, right? You see this bottleneck? You see that bottleneck, yes? Say yes. What should I do? If I have a lot of time, I should do this with each station. If I don't have a lot of time, I should take the bottleneck, and what should I do with that bottleneck? Tell me, what should I do with that bottleneck? People? Equipment? Schedule? Materials. Do you remember this? Say yes. Say yes. this not going well? Say yes.
Yes.
Aha. I am going to be looking to see that not only in a system do you look at the system itself, you look at all resources that make that task possible, and what is the reliability of that system. I want to see this analysis. Say yes. Formally or informally. If you have data, you can put the data together. If it is informal, your discussion must be that we looked at the station, and what we did is we found that the reliability of material is an issue. So even though we're fixing this process, one of the things that this company must do to enhance their ability is to look at materials and procurement and delivery of materials. Do you see that? Everybody so far okay? Did we say anything? That is incorrect. Yes or no? Now, this E is how you approach this. See, this right here is to get you to the critical path. This E here is to get you to do this. This S is a part of this reliability. That means sustainability. What else did you learn about sustainability?
Maintenance
Huh?
and maintenance of the system.
The maintenance of the thing, so that here, and I can show you that by looking at the reliability, you're going to find out what requires maintenance is. So you're doing this. What is one more thing that we said that you should look at? I think Enrique presented that, because this is his dissertation that he's working on. Culture. The impact of culture on that design. So I must have you discuss that culture. And I want you to discuss and say, what is the culture, and how is there alignment between the system and the culture, or a misalignment between the system and culture? Now, you see that we're still using the drives model, right? The DRIV gets me to what? The critical path. The E, the execute, provides me this structure. Very different than what the Toyota production system does. Would you agree? What does the Toyota production system say? Do 5S, and do the value stream map, and do this, to do this, to. We look at it very different. And then, sustainability has three components for us. One is, watch this. What is this? In every decision, we are looking at the quality of life. We're enhancing the reliability of the system. And do you think that a system that is very reliable is accepted by people? Yes or no? The difference sometimes that I see between the United States and some other countries is not the structure. It is the reliability of that structure being able to provide you with whatever you want. Ability to have reliability of making sure that electricity is always available. That when I make a call and say I have a problem with electricity, that by one phone call, I expect that my whatever problem I have is going to get fixed. How many countries do you know of that want one call that you will be able to? And when you call it back, you said, they will tell you, you have already called it, we have this, we can tell you that there are 6 other people that have called it, we can tell you, and I can tell you that the crew is on their way or will be there at 2 hours. Reliability. That way I can make a phone call and sit back. In some countries, tell me, India is still like that? That the electricity goes out, and the electricity may be out for 20 minutes or 16 days.
That happens.
Huh?
That happens even for 16
No,
days.
you're not supposed to say that. I'm just saying this, I'm exaggerating. And you do not have the confidence that when I make a phone call, that my electricity is going to be fixed. So then you have to send somebody, and you said, who do I know in the company, and who do I know? Who do I have connections with that will get my house fixed before everybody else's? The mindset. So sustainability comes from quality of life, enhancing the reliability of the system, and including the culture. Do you see that? Say yes. The last thing, you have now designed your systems, right? Because you're presenting them all. Say, yes, I am finished with my presentation. So I'm going to say, are you finished with your presentation? And then say yes, and then you're going to say, are you finished with your presentation? Say yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. The last thing that I want you to look at is when I look at my process and you identify key stakeholders. Who are key stakeholders? What are key stakeholders? Key stakeholders is the person, let's say, in the bottleneck. The key stakeholders is the person that is providing the material. You see that this is my critical path, this is my support system, this is a critical person, this is a critical person, and then in management, we have somebody that's a critical person. Not only 3, but it could be more. You have to identify the key stakeholders. Yes? Say yeah. Young man, get up here. Who's on your team?
Samuel, Julio, and Jinjo.
All right, get them up there. Bring a chair so you can sit. You don't get advantage. Here, you can take this one. One can take this. I want you to tell me if this is a good team or a bad team. Who's the team leader? Get up here. Can I get something? So I want to do this. Can you move your chairs? Right. So that you're on this floor. And pull your chairs. Bring it right. You sit right here. Put your chair up here. I just want to be behind you. Please, these are 4 key stakeholders, are they not? Of a team. Very similar to the processes that you have designed, you have identified who are the critical stakeholders in that system. Yes or no? Say yes. You have not. But you will by tomorrow. Now, what I want to see, number 7. The 7th thing that I want to see, okay, is I'll show you an example. Do you believe that this is a good team or not? Well, ask questions.
What company are you working on?
Well, retailers.
I'm going to take a nap here. When you have enough to tell me if this is a good team or not, wake me up. Is that okay? Say yes.
Did they give you a problem? And was it the same you concluded?
Yes, we did find the problem where they wanted us to find it, but we had also found other issues as well, that if, once they do fix this issue, or make it a balanced line, they'll fix something else.
Watch this. I didn't